Hi guys, welcome to our next set of notes. We're going to be switching gears and we'll go back to geometry, but now I want to talk about order of operations. I know this is a skill that you probably touched on in 6th grade, so we're just going to speed through this relatively quickly. Okay, go ahead and get your ISN out, set it up Cornell note style, and let's get started. So once you set your notebook up, for Roman numeral 1, we're going to talk about the operation steps. Okay, so you all may be familiar with PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We're going to go through that quickly. So the first step when you're solving an order of operations problem, you need to start by solving whatever is in the parentheses. Parentheses can look like this, or sometimes parentheses can even be in brackets like this. Next, you need to solve for the exponents. Keep in mind that the exponents is going to look like this 2 up here, okay? So x to the 2nd power is the same thing as saying x times x. And, for example, 2 to the 3rd power is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2, okay? So, of course, we're going to break it down. 2 times 2 equals 4 times 2, which equals 8, our final answer. Okay, so we don't want to mistake this for being 6. Remember to multiply each thing step by step so that you can end up with your answer. That's how we're going to do exponents. After you do exponents, then we're going to actually group multiply and divide together. Whichever one comes first as we're going throughout the problem left to right, whichever one comes first, that's what we're going to solve. So if a division part comes first, then we're going to divide first. If a multiplication part comes first, then we're going to multiply first. And same with adding and subtracting. Whichever one comes first in our problem solving, that's what we're going to do. So take a few moments and jot this down, and then we'll jump right back into the video. For 7th grade, we're actually going to be solving a few more word problems than you probably did in 6th grade. So I want you to write this note down. When you're solving word problems, I want you to read for clarity and make sure that you write out the entire numerical problem before solving. I don't want you to read and just start writing random things and thinking that you've arrived at an answer. You need to write out the entire problem numerically and then begin solving it step by step. Now that we've got our notes pretty much down packed, let's jump into some examples. So for the first example, we see that we have 3 times 1 plus, in parentheses, 4 minus 2. So following my order of operation notes, I'm going to start by solving what's in the parentheses. Please pay attention to how I work this problem out. I'm going to start by writing my equal sign, and I'm going to make sure that the equal sign remains lined up as I solve the problem. I'm going to bring down 3 times 1 plus, and then I'm going to solve what's in the parentheses. 4 minus 2 is 2. That's it. Okay? Then I'm going to go to the next step. All right? I don't have any exponents, but I do have a multiplication problem, which I'm going to solve now. 3 times 1 is 3. Bring down my plus 2. And then finally, 3 plus 2 equals 5. My final answer is 5. Now, I know that you may be thinking, Ms. Fersner, it's easy to solve 3 times 1, but I want you to make sure that you follow everything step by step, because when we get into some more complex problems, you'll understand. Let's move to the next problem. Okay, this is a division problem. Okay, we actually have, in parentheses, 8 minus 5 plus 6 divided by negative 3. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my equal sign here, okay? And I'm going to draw my division line because I'm not there yet. First thing I need to do is solve what's in the parentheses. 8 minus 5 is going to give me 3. 3 plus 6 over negative 3, okay? I'm going to come down. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. Draw my dividing line, and I'm going to solve at the top first. I'm going to make sure I get the top to one number so then I can divide last. Okay, so this is a rare occasion where I wouldn't divide before I add. Okay, because I want to make sure before I divide anything that my up top is straight. So I can go ahead and add 6 plus 3. That's going to give me 9 over negative 3. Keep in mind, I'm just bringing the same thing down, okay? Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually divide this. 9 divided by negative 3 is going to give me negative 3. I remember my rule of exponents. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. So my final answer is negative 3. Now let's look at our last problem. I'm going to solve problem C over here because I'm going to be working down a lot. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my equal sign out. Okay? And I'm going to draw my dividing line. My order of operations states that I need to solve for the parentheses first. So I'm going to bring everything else down. Okay? So I'm going to bring down my 2 to the second power minus 3 minus 1 is going to be 2 plus 3 over 5. Okay? I'm going to bring down my equal sign, my dividing line. The next thing I'm going to do is solve my exponents. I know that 2 to the second power, and I can actually work this out on the side if it helps. I know that 2 to the second power is the same thing as saying 2 times 2. And I know that 2 times 2 equals 4. So, going back to my problem, I can replace this with the number 4. Bringing down everything else. Minus 2 plus 3 over 5. Okay? Now, I'm going to bring down my equal sign, draw my dividing line, 5. Whichever comes first, the first thing I have is a subtraction problem. So 4 minus 2 is going to give me 2 plus 3. And as I know, 2 plus 3 is equal to 5 over 5. And 5 over 5 is equal to 1. So my final answer here is 1. Okay? So you should have seen how I work these problems out. I'm going to give you one word problem that I want you to solve. And we're going to come back with that in a second. All right, come up to me and make sure that you get one of these word problems. And let's look at it real quick. Once you have it, make sure you tape it into your notes and we'll go ahead and solve it. It says, Ms. Fersner paid $14.99 to join an online music service. If she purchased 9 songs each month at the cost of 99 cents per song, what will be the total amount she has spent after 5 months? So the first thing that I need to do for this word problem is set up my problem numerically. So the first thing that I know is that there was an initial fee of $14.99. Okay? That's how much I had to pay to join the online service. So it says I purchased 9 songs each month at a cost of this amount per song. And I'm trying to figure out the total after 5 months. So, I know that I'm going to be adding to this cost, okay? How many songs did I buy? 9 songs times the amount for each song. And how many times did I do this? I did it 5 times. So that means I'm going to multiply what I did for 1 month times 5. And this is my problem. So now that I have it set up, I can use my order of operations to solve for the answer. Writing my equal sign, I'm going to bring down my $14.99 plus 5, and I'm going to solve what's in this parentheses. That's going to give me 8.91. Okay? The next thing that I'm going to do, I see a multiplication situation. Anytime you have a number next to a parentheses, you're going to be multiplying. So when I multiply 5, well, first of all, I'm going to bring down $14.99 plus, when I multiply 5 times 8.91, I'm going to get 44.55. And when I add these two final numbers together, my final answer should be 59.55. 54. That's how much I spent after 5 months. Okay? Now that you solve these problems, I want you to move on to the rest of the task sheet. Have a good one.